NCERT examples, chapter wise. Asexual reproduction, binary fission, amoeba. Asexual reproduction, binary fission, amoeba. Budding, yeast. Budding, yeast. Cell division, protist and monerans. Asexual reproduction, binary fission, amoeba. Budding, yeast. Cell division, protist and moneran. Asexual reproduction structures, zoospores, chlamydomonas, conidia, penicillium, birds, hydra, gemmules, sponge, vegetative propagils of vegetative propagils in angiosperms, ice, potato, rhizome, ginger and banana, bulbil, agave, leaf birds, bryophyllum, offsets, water hyacinth, ice, potato, vegetative propagils in angiosperms, ice, potato, rhizome, ginger and banana, bulbil, agave, leaf birds, bryophyllum, offset, water hyacinth. Estrus cycle, tiger, cows, sheep, rat, deer, dogs. Estrus cycle, tiger, cows, sheep, rats, deers and dogs. Menstrual cycle, monkeys, apes and human, menstrual cycle. Monoecious plants, bisexual plants. Example, cucurbits and coconut kara. That monoecious plants are bisexual plants, cucurbits and coconut kara. Dioecious plant, unisexual plants, papaya and date palm, markantia. Dioecious plants, unisexual plants, papaya and date palm, markantia. Bisexual animals, hermaphrodite, earthworm, sponge, tapeworm and leech. Bisexual animals, hermaphrodite, earthworm, sponge, tapeworm and leech. Unisexual animals, cockroach. Parthenogenesis, rotifers, honeybees, some lizards, birds, turkey. Parthenogenesis seen in rotifer, honeybees, some lizards, birds, turkey, birds like turkey. External fertilization, most aquatic organisms, majority of algae and fishes as well as amphibians. External fertilization, most aquatic organisms like majority of algae and fishes as well as amphibians. Internal fertilization, many terrestrial organisms belonging to fungi, higher animals like reptile, birds and mammal, majority of plants like bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm and angiosperm. Internal fertilization seen in many terrestrial organisms belonging to fungi. Internal fertilization, higher animal, reptile, birds, mammal. Internal fertilization, majority of plants, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm and angiosperm. Multicarpellary, Syncarpus pistil, papaver. Multicarpellary, Apocarpus gynoecium, Michella. Multicarpellary, Apocarpus gynoecium, Michelia. Presence of one ovule in an ovary, wheat, paddy, mango. Presence of one ovule in an ovary, wheat, paddy, mango. Presence of many ovules in an ovary, papaya, watermelon, orchids. Presence of many ovules in an ovary, papaya, watermelon, orchids. Autogamy, viola, common pansy, oxalis and commelina. Autogamy, viola, common pansy, we say oxalis and commelina. Abiotic agents of pollination, wind and water. Abiotic agents of pollination, wind and water. Biotic agents of pollination, animals like bees, butterflies, beetles, wasps, ants, moths. Biotic agents of pollination, birds like sunbird and hummingbird, bats, some primates like lemurs and arborea, tree dwelling animals, rodents, reptiles like gecko lizard and garden lizard. Biotic agents of pollination, animals like bees, butterflies, beetles, wasps, ants, moths, birds like sunbird and hummingbird, bats, some primates like lemurs and arboreal like tree dwelling rodents, reptiles like gecko lizard and garden lizard are the biotic agents of pollination. Wind pollination, grasses. Water pollination, algae, bryophyte, pteridophytes. Water pollination, algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte. Vallisneria, hydrilla, grow in fresh water. Water pollination, Vallisneria, hydrilla, grow in fresh water. Zoostera, grow in marine water. Zoostera, water pollination, grow in marine water. Insect or wind pollination. Insect or wind pollination, water hyacinth and water lily. Insect or wind pollination, water hyacinth and water lily. Endosperms completely consumed by developing embryo before seed maturation. Pea, groundnut and beans. Endosperms completely consumed by developing embryo before seed maturation. Pea, groundnuts and beans. Persistent endosperm, castor and coconut. Persistent endosperm, castor and coconut. Albuminous seed, wheat, maize, barley, castor, sunflower. Albuminous seed, wheat, maize, barley, castor, sunflower. Non-albuminous seed, pea and groundnut. Non-albuminous seed, pea and groundnut. True fruits, most of the fruits. False fruits, apple, strawberry, cashew. False fruit, apple, strawberry, cashew. Parthenocarpic fruits, banana. Parthenocarpic fruits, banana. Apomixis, asteraceae and grasses. Apomixis, asteraceae and grasses. Polyembryony, citrus fruits. Polyembryony, citrus fruits. Hormones released during pregnancy. Human chorionic gonadotropin hormone, human placental lactogen hormone, estrogen, progestogens like by placenta, HCG, HPL, estrogen, progestogen. All they are from placenta. Relaxin by ovary. During pregnancy, levels of estrogen, progestogen, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine are also increased in maternal blood. Natural methods of contraception, periodic abstinence, withdrawal or coitus interruptus, lactational amenorrhea. Barrier methods of contraception, condom, diaphragm, cervical caps and valves are the barrier methods of contraception. IUDs, non-medicated IUD, lippy slope, non-medicated IUD, lippy slope. Copper releasing IUD, copper T, copper 7, multi-load 375. Copper releasing IUD, copper T, copper 7, multi-load 375. Hormone releasing IUD, progesterone and LNG20. Hormone releasing IUD, progesterone and LNG20. Incomplete dominance is seen in dog flower, snapdragon or antirrhinum species. Dog flower, snapdragon or antirrhinum species. Codominance, example ABO blood grouping. Multiple allelism, ABO blood grouping. Pleiotropy, phenylketonuria. Pleiotropy, phenylketonuria. Male heterogamity, human and Drosophila. Male heterogamity, human and Drosophila. Female heterogamity, birds, ZW. Female heterogamity, birds. Point mutation, sickle cell anemia. Point mutation, sickle cell anemia. Mendelian disorders, hemophilia, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, color blindness, phenylketonuria, thalassemia are Mendelian disorders. Chromosomal disorders, Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome. Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome. Purines, adenine and guanine. Pyrimidines, cytosine, uracil and thymine. Pyrimidines, cytosine, uracil and thymine. Homologous structures of divergent evolution, homologous structure. Four limbs of whales, bats, cheetah and human. Homology, divergent evolution. Vertebrate hearts or brains. Homology, divergent evolution. Thorns and tenders of bougainvillea and cucurbita. Homology, divergent evolution. Analogous structures, convergent evolution. Wings of butterfly and birds. Eyes of octopus and mammal. Analogous structure, convergent evolution. Flippers of penguins and dolphins. Analogous structure, convergent evolution. Root modification, sweet potato. Stem modification, potato. Adaptive radiation, Darwin finches and Australian marsupial. Darwin finches and Australian marsupial, example for adaptive radiation. Placental mammal, mole, anteater, mouse, lemur, flying squirrel, bobcat, wolf are placental mammal. Australian mammal, marsupial mole, numbat, anteater, marsupial mouse, spotted cuscus, flying phalanger, Tasmanian tiger cat, Tasmanian wolf or Australian mammals. Passive immunity, colostrum, injection in case of snake bite. Primary lymphoid organ, bone marrow and thymus. Primary lymphoid organ, bone marrow and thymus. Secondary lymphoid organ, spleen, lymph node, tonsils, Peyer's patches of small intestine and appendix. Secondary lymphoid organ, spleen, lymph node, tonsils, Peyer's patches of small intestine and appendix. Freshwater fish, Katla, Rohu and common carp. Freshwater fish, Katla, Rohu and common carp. Marine fishes, Hilsa, sardines, mackerel, pomfrets. Marine fishes are Hilsa, sardine, mackerel and pomfrets. Semi-dwarf varieties of wheat. Semi-dwarf varieties of wheat, Sonalika and Kalyan Sona. Semi-dwarf varieties of wheat, Sonalika and Kalyan Sona. Semi-dwarf varieties of rice, Jaya and Ratna. Semi-dwarf varieties of rice, Jaya and Ratna. Diseases caused by fungi, brown rust of wheat, red rot of sugarcane, late blight of potato are diseases caused by fungi. Diseases caused by bacteria, black rot of crucifers, black rot and crucifers. Diseases caused by viruses, tobacco mosaic and turnip mosaic. This is diseases caused by viruses, tobacco mosaic and turnip mosaic. Free living nitrogen fixing bacteria, Azospirillum azotobacter. Free living nitrogen fixing bacteria, Azospirillum and azotobacter. Cyanobacteria as nitrogen fixer, Anabina, Nostoc, Oscillatoria. Cyanobacteria as nitrogen fixer, Anabina, Nostoc, Oscillatoria. Symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria, Rhizobium. Symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria, Rhizobium. Major biomes of India, tropical rainforest, deciduous forest, desert, sea coast are major biomes of India. Tropical rainforest, deciduous forest and desert, sea coast. Predation, prickly pear cactus and cactus feeding predator, a moth. Predation, prickly pear cactus and a cactus feeding predator. Parasitism, life cycle of human liver fluke, malarial parasite and cuscuta. That brood parasitism. This is brood parasitism. Cuckoo and the crow is having brood parasitism. Example for brood parasitism, cuckoo and the crow. Commensalism, barnacles growing on the back of whale. Commensalism, an orchid growing on as an epiphyte on mango branch is a commensalism. Cattle egret and grazing cattle, example for commensalism. Cattle egret and grazing cattle. Sea anemone and clownfish are examples for commensalism. Mutualism, lichens, mutualistic relationship between a fungus and a photosynthesizing algae or cyanobacteria are example for mutualism. Mycorrhizae, association between fungi and roots of higher plants, mycorrhizae, example for mutualism. Pollination, zoophily, entomophily are example for mutualism. Fig tree and wasp is an example for mutualism. Gaseous nutrient cycle, nitrogen and carbon cycle. Sulfur and phosphorus cycle are called sedimentary cycles. Plants with hallucinogenic property, Erythroxylum coca, Atropa belladonna and Datura stromanium. Plants with hallucinogenic property, Erythroxylum coca, Atropa belladonna and Datura. Symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria, Rhizobium. Symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria, Rhizobium. Free living nitrogen fixing bacteria, Azospirillum and Azotobacter. Free living nitrogen fixing bacteria, Azospirillum and Azotobacter. Cyanobacteria as a nitrogen fixer, Anabina, Nostoc, Oscillatoria. Cyanobacteria as a nitrogen fixer, Anabina, Nostoc, Oscillatoria. Competition between superior barnacle Belanus and smaller barnacle Chathalamus. Competition between superior barnacle Belanus and smaller barnacle Chathalamus. In situ conservation, biosphere reserve, national park, wildlife sanctuaries, example for in situ conservation. Ex situ conservation, zoological park, botanical garden, and wildlife safari park. Example for ex situ conservation, zoological park, botanical garden, and wildlife safari park. Red dinoflagellates, gonialax, red dinoflagellate, gonialax, euglenoids, euglena, amoeboid protozoan, amoeba, entamoeba, amoeboid protozoan, amoeba, entamoeba. Flagellate protozoan, trypanosoma, flagellate protozoan, trypanosoma. Ciliated protozoan, paramecium, ciliated protozoan, paramecium. Sporozoans, plasmodium, malarial parasite, sporozoan, plasmodium, malarial parasite. Phycomycetes, Mucar, Rhizopus, albugo. Phycomycetes, Mucar, Rhizopus, albugo. Albugo is a parasitic fungi on mustard. Ascomycetes, Penicillium, multicellular Penicillium, yeast unicellular, Aspergillus, claviceps, and Neurospora. Ascomycetes, Penicillium, yeast, Aspergillus, claviceps, and Neurospora. Basidiomycetes, Agaricus, mushroom, Ustilago, smut, Pusinia, rust fungus. Deuteromycetes, Alternaria, Colitotrichum, Trichoderma. Deuteromycetes, Alternaria, Colitotrichum, Trichoderma. Phycomycetes, Mucar, Rhizopus, albugo. Phycomycetes, Mucar, Rhizopus, albugo. Ascomycetes, Penicillium, yeast, Aspergillus, claviceps, Neurospora. Ascomycetes, Penicillium, yeast, Aspergillus, claviceps, Neurospora. Basidiomycetes, Agaricus, Ustilago, Pusinia. Basidiomycetes, Agaricus, Ustilago, Pusinia. Deuteromycetes, Alternaria, Colitotrichum, Trichoderma. Deuteromycetes, Alternaria, Colitotrichum, Trichoderma. Colonial algae, Valvax. Colonial algae, Valvax. Filamentous algae, Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Filamentous algae, Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Isogamous reproduction, flagellated and similar in size, Ulothrix. Isogamous reproduction, flagellated and similar in size, Ulothrix. Isogamous reproduction, non-flagellated, non-motile but similar in size, Spirogyra. Isogamous reproduction, non-flagellated, non-motile but similar in size, Spirogyra. Anisogamous reproduction, Eudorina. Anisogamous reproduction, Eudorina. Oogamous reproduction, Valvax and Fucus. Oogamous reproduction, Valvax and Fucus. Marine algae used as food, Porphyra, Laminaria and Sargassum. Marine algae used as food, Porphyra, Laminaria and Sargassum. Algae producing hydrocolloids, water holding substance, algae producing hydrocolloids, algin, brown algae, and carrageen, red algae. Algae producing hydrocolloids, algin, brown algae, carrageen, red algae. Unicellular algae rich in protein used as a food supplement by space traveler, chlorella. Unicellular algae rich in protein used as a food supplement by space travelers, chlorella. Chlorophyceae, Chlamydomonas, Valvax, Ilothrix, Spirogyra, Cara. Chlorophyceae, Chlamydomonas, Valvax, Ilothrix, Spirogyra, Cara. Phaeophyceae, Ectocarpus, Dictyota, Laminaria, Sargassum, Fucus. Phaeophyceae, Ectocarpus, Dictyota, Laminaria, Sargassum, Fucus. Phaeophyceae, Ectocarpus, Dictyota, Laminaria, Sargassum, Fucus. Rhodophyceae, Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, Gelidium. Rhodophyceae, Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, Gelidium. Liverworts, Bryophytes, Markantia. Liverwort, Bryophyte, Markantia. Masses, Bryophyte, Funaria, Polytrichum, Sphagnum. Masses of Bryophyte, Funaria, Polytrichum, Sphagnum. Pteridophyte class, Silopsida, Silotum. Lycopodium, Selaginella, Lycopodium. Spinopsida, Equisitum. Pteropsida, Dryopteris, Pteris adiantum. Pteridophyte class, Silopsida, Silotum. Lycopodium, Selaginella, and Lycopodium. Spinopsida, Equisetum. Spinopsida of Pteridophyta, Equisetum. Pteropsida of Pteridophyta, Dryopteris, Pteris adiantum. Pteridophytes having microphyll, Selaginella. Pteridophytes having microphyll, Selaginella. Pteridophytes having macrophylls, ferns. Pteridophytes having macrophylls, ferns. Pteridophytes having strobili or cones, Selaginella equisetum. Pteridophytes having strobili or cones, Selaginella equisetum. Heterosporous pteridophytes, Selaginella and Salvinia. Heterosporous pteridophytes, Selaginella and Salvinia. Unbranched stem, Cycas. Unbranched stem, Cycas. Branched stem, Pinus and Cedrus. Branched stem, Pinus and Cedrus. Bisexual gymnosperm, Pinus. Bisexual gymnosperm, Pinus. Unisexual gymnosperm, Cycas. Unisexual gymnosperm, Cycas. Haplantic life cycle, Pyrogyra, Valvax, some species of Chlamydomonas. Haplantic life cycle, Pyrogyra, Valvax, some species of Chlamydomonas. Diplontic life cycle, Fucus, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. Diplontic life cycle, Fucus, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. Haplodiplantic life cycle, Bryophyte, Pteridophytes, Ectocarpus, Polysiphonia, Kelps. Haplodiplantic life cycle, Bryophyte, Pteridophyte, Ectocarpus, Polysiphonia, Kelps. Coelomates, Annelid, Mollusca, Arthropoda, Echinodermata, Hemicardata, Chordata. From phylum Annelida to Chordata, Coelomates. Pseudocoelomate, Aschelminthes. Pseudocoelomate, Aschelminthes. Acylomate, Platyhelminthes. Acylomate, Platyhelminthes. Phylum Porifera, Sicon, Scypha, Spongilla, freshwater sponge, and Euspongia, bath sponge. Phylum Porifera. Phylum Coelenterata or Nidaria. Physalia, Portuguese man of war. Adamsia, sea anemone. Pennatilla, sea pen. Gorgonia, sea fan. Meandrina, brain coral. All are belongs to phylum Coelenterata. Ctenophora, Pleurobrachia and Ctenoplana. Sea walnuts are comb jellies. Ctenophora, Pleurobrachia and Ctenoplana. Sea walnuts are comb jellies. Phylum Platyhelminthes. Taenia, tapeworm. Fasciola, liver fluke. Phylum Platyhelminthes. Aschelminthes. Ascaris, roundworm. Oceraria, filaria worm. Ankylostoma, hookworm. Aschelminthes. Ascaris, roundworm. Oceraria, filaria worm. Ankylostoma, hookworm. Phylum Annelida. Nereis, sandworm. Peritima, earthworm. Hiridinaria, blood-sucking leech. Annelida. Arthropoda. Phylum Arthropoda, economically important insect. Apis, honeybee. Bombyx, silkworm. Laxifer, lac insect. Economically important insects of phylum Arthropoda. Vectors, Anopheles, Culex, Aedes, mosquitoes. Gregarious pest, locust, gregarious pest of phylum Arthropoda. Limulus, living fossil, king crab, phylum Arthropoda. Phylum Mollusca include phyla, apple snail, pinctada, perlister, sepia, cuttlefish, loligo, squid, octopus, devilfish, Aplysia, sea hare, Dentalium, tusk shell, and Chaetoplura, chiton. Phylum Mollusca include phyla, apple snail, pinctada, perlister, sepia, cuttlefish, loligo, squid, octopus, devilfish, Aplysia, sea hare, Dentalium, tusk shell, and Chaetoplura, chiton. Phylum Echinodermata. Phylum Echinodermata, Asteria, starfish, Echinus, sea urchin, Antinon, sea lily, Cucumeria, sea cucumber, and Ophira, brittle star. All are these belongs to Echinodermata. Hemicardata, echinworms, Velenoglasses, Sacoglasses. Hemicardata, echinworm, Velenoglasses, and Sacoglasses. Urocardata, Acidia salpa doliolum. Urocardata, Acidia salpa doliolum. Cephalocardata, Branchiostoma, Amphiaxis, or landslide. Cephalocardata, Branchiostoma, or Amphiaxis are commonly called landslide. Cyclostomata, Petromyzon, lamprey, mixin, hagfish. Petromyzon, lamprey, mixin, hagfish belongs to Cyclostomata. Chondrichthyes, Scoliodon, Indian dogfish. Scoliodon, Chondrichthyes, Indian dogfish. Prestis, sawfish. Prestis, sawfish, Chondrichthyes. Carcharodon, great white shark, Chondrichthyes. Trigon, stingray, Chondrichthyes. Osteichthyes, marine Osteichthyes. Exocetus, flying fish, hippocampus, sea horse. Osteichthyes, freshwater. Labio, rohu, katla, clarias, magur. Osteichthyes, aquarium. Betta, fighting fish. Pterophyllum, angelfish. Astichthys marine, Exocetus, hippocampus. Astichthys freshwater, labio, catla, clarias. Astichthys aquarium, betta, and pterophyllum. Amphibia, bifo, toad, rana, frog, hyla, tree frog, salamandra, salamander, ichthyophis, limbless amphibian, ichthyophis, limbless amphibian. Reptilia, Kilone, turtle, Reptilia, Kilone, turtle, Testudo, tortoise, Testudo, tortoise, Chameleon, tree lizard, Celotes, garden lizard, crocodiles, crocodilus, alligator, alligator, Hemidoctylus, wall lizard, poisonous snakes like Naja, cobra, Bangaras, krait, vipera, viper. Reptilia, Kilone, turtle, testudo, tortoise, chameleon, tree lizard, celotes, garden lizard, crocodilus, crocodile, alligator, alligator, hemidoctylus, wall lizard. Poisonous snakes, naja, cobra, bangaras, krait, vipera, viper. Aves, carvus, crow, columba, pigeon, carvus, crow, columba, pigeon, sitacula, parrot, struthio, ostrich, havo, peacock. Actinodites, penguin, neophran, vulture, aves, carvus, crow, columba, pigeon, sitacula, parrot, struthio, ostrich, pavo, peacock, actinodites, penguin, neophran, vulture. Mammalia, oviparous, ornithorhynchus, platypus, viviparous, macropus, kangaroo, pteropus, flying fox, camelus, camel, macaca, monkey, ratus, rat, canis, dog, felis, cat, Elephas, elephant, equus, horse, delphinus, common dolphin, Balanoptera, blue whale, Panthera tigris, tiger, Panthera leo, lion. Oviparous mammal, Ornithorhynchus, platypus, duckbill platypus, mammal, oviparous mammal, Ornithorhynchus, viviparous mammal, Macropus, kangaroo, pteropus, flying fox, camelus, camel, macaca, monkey, ratus, rat, canis, dog, felis, cat, Elephas, elephant, equus, horse, delphinus, common dolphin, Balanoptera, blue whale, Panthera tigris, tiger, Panthera leo, lion. Taproot system, mustard, taproot system, mustard. Fibrous root system, monocotyledonous plants. Fibrous root system, monocotyledonous plant. Adventitious root system, grass, monstera, and the banyan tree. Adventitious root system, grass, monstera, and the banyan tree. Prop roots, banyan tree. Prop roots, banyan tree. Stilt roots, maize and sugarcane. Prop roots, banyan tree. Stilt roots, maize and sugarcane. Stilt roots, maize and sugarcane. Pneumatophores, rhizophora. Pneumatophores, rhizophora. Modified stem, potato, ginger, turmeric, jamincand, colocasia. Modified stem, potato, ginger, turmeric, jamincand, and colocasia. Modified root, sweet potato. Modified root, sweet potato. Pinnately compound leaf, neem. Palmately compound leaf, silk cotton. Pinnately compound leaf, neem. Palmately compound leaf, silk cotton. Alternate phyllotaxy, China rose, mustard, sunflower plant. Alternate phyllotaxy, China rose, mustard, sunflower plant. Opposite phyllotaxy, Calotropis gava. Opposite phyllotaxy, Calotropis gava. Old phyllotaxy, Alstonia. Old phyllotaxy, Alstonia. Alternate phyllotaxy, China rose, mustard, sunflower plant. Opposite phyllotaxy, Calotropis gava plants. Old phyllotaxy, Alstonia. Actinomorphic, mustard, datura, chili. Actinomorphic, mustard, datura, chili. Zygomorphic, P. gulmohar, bean, cassia. Zygomorphic, P. gulmohar, bean, cassia. Hypogynous flower, superior ovary. Hypogynous flower, superior ovary. Mustard, China rose, brinjal. Hypogynous flower, superior ovary. Mustard, China rose, brinjal. Perigynous flower, half inferior ovary. Plum, rose, peach. Perigynous flower, half inferior ovary. Plum, rose, peach. Epigynous flower, inferior ovary. Guava and cucumber. Epigynous flower, inferior ovary. Guava and cucumber. Hypogynous flower, superior ovary, mustard, China rose, brinjal. Perigynous flower, half inferior ovary, plum, rose, peach. Epigynous flower, inferior ovary, guava and cucumber. Valvate estivation, calotropis. Valvate estivation, calotropis. Twisted estivation, China rose, lady's finger and cotton. Twisted estivation, China rose, lady's finger and cotton. Imbricate estivation, cassia and gulmohar. Imbricate estivation, cassia and gulmohar. Valvate estivation, calotropis. Twisted estivation, China rose, lady's finger and cotton. Imbricate estivation, cassia and gulmohar. Vexillary estivation, pea and bean flowers. Monoadelphus androecium, China rose. Monoadelphus androecium, China rose. Diadelphus androecium, P. Diadelphus androecium, P. Polyadelphus androecium, citrus. Polyadelphus androecium, citrus. Monoadelphus androecium, China rose. Diadelphus androecium, P. Polyadelphus androecium, citrus. Apocarpus gynoecium, lotus and rose. Apocarpus gynoecium, lotus and rose. Syncarpus gynoecium, mustard and tomato. Syncarpus gynoecium, mustard and tomato. Marginal placentation, P. Marginal placentation, P. Exhale placentation, China rose, tomato and lemon. Exhale placentation, China rose, tomato and lemon. Parietal placentation, mustard and argemone. Parietal placentation, mustard and argemone. Free central placentation, dianthus and primrose. Free central placentation, dianthus and primrose. Basal placentation, sunflower, marigold. Basal placentation, sunflower, marigold. Fabaceae, pulses, gram, arhar, sem, moong, soyabean. Fabaceae, pulses, gram, arhar, sem, moong, soyabean. Fabaceae edible oil, soyabean, groundnut. Fabaceae dye, indigofera. Fabaceae dye, indigofera. Fabaceae fiber, sun hemp. Fabaceae fiber, sun hemp. Fabaceae fodder, Sesbania trifolium. Fabaceae fodder, Sesbania trifolium. Fabaceae ornamentals, lupin, sweet pea. Fabaceae ornamental, lupin, sweet pea. Fabaceae medicine, muliati. Fabaceae medicine, muliati. Solanaceae, tomato, brinjal, potato, spice, chili, medicine like belladonna and ashwagandha, fumigatory like tobacco, ornamentals like petunia. Solanaceae, tomato, brinjal, potato, chili like spice like chili, belladonna, ashwagandha, medicinal plants, fumigatory, tobacco, ornamentals, petunia. Liliaceae, tulip, gloriosa, source of medicine, aloe, vegetables, asparagus, and colchin, that colchicum autumnale. Liliaceae, tulip, gloriosa, source of medicine, aloe, vegetable, asparagus, colchin. Then endomembrane system, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosome, and vacuole are belongs to endomembrane system. Endomembrane system, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosome, and vacuoles. Pigments, carotenoid, anthocyanin. Pigments, carotenoid, anthocyanin. Alkaloids, morphine, codeine. Alkaloids, morphine, codeine. Terpenoids, monoterpene, diterpene. Terpenoids, monoterpene, diterpene. Essential oil, lemongrass oil. Essential oil, lemongrass oil. Toxin, abrin, ricin. Toxins, abrin and ricin. Lectin, concavalin A. Lectin, concavalin A. Lectin, concavalin A. Drugs, vinblastin, curcumin. Drugs, vinblastin and curcumin. Polymeric substance, rubber, gum, cellulose. Polymeric substance, rubber, gums, cellulose. Macronutrients, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, calcium, and magnesium are called macronutrients. Macronutrients are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, calcium, and magnesium are macronutrients. Then micronutrients, iron, manganese, copper, molybdenum, zinc, boron, chlorine, and nickel are micronutrients. Iron, manganese, copper, molybdenum, zinc, boron, chlorine, and nickel are micronutrients. Beneficial elements, sodium, silicon, cobalt, selenium. Beneficial elements, sodium, silicon, cobalt, and selenium. Chlorosis is caused by the deficiency of nitrogen, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, iron, manganese, zinc, and cobalt. Chlorosis caused by the deficiency of nitrogen, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, iron, manganese, zinc, and cobalt. Necrosis or death of tissue caused by the deficiency of calcium, magnesium, copper, potassium. Necrosis or death of tissue is caused by the deficiency of calcium, magnesium, copper, and potassium. Inhibition of cell division caused by the deficiency of nitrogen, potassium, sulfur, and molybdenum. Inhibition of cell division caused by the deficiency of nitrogen, potassium, sulfur, and molybdenum. Delay of flowering caused by the deficiency of nitrogen, sulfur, molybdenum. Delay in flowering is caused by the deficiency of nitrogen, sulfur, molybdenum. Nitrifying bacteria, Nitrosomonas, Nitrococcus, Nitrobacter. Nitrifying bacteria, Nitrosomonas, Nitrococcus, and Nitrobacter. Denitrifying bacteria, Pseudomonas thiobacillus. Denitrifying bacteria, Pseudomonas thiobacillus. Vernalization, biennial plants like sugar beet, cabbages, and carrots. Vernalization seen in biennial plants, sugar beet, cabbages, carrots. Respiration by simple diffusion over entire body surface, lower invertebrate like sponges, coelenterate, flatworms. Respiration by simple diffusion over entire body surface is seen in lower invertebrate like sponges, coelenterate, and flatworms. Cutaneous respiration, earthworm. Cutaneous respiration, earthworm. Tracheal respiration, insects. Tracheal respiration, insect. Branchial respiration, gills, most of aquatic arthropods and mollusks. Branchial respiration, gills, most of the aquatic arthropods and mollusks. Pulmonary respiration, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. Pulmonary respiration, amphibian, reptile, birds, and mammals. Two-chambered heart, fishes. Two-chambered heart, fishes. Three-chambered heart, amphibians and reptiles, except crocodiles. Four-chambered heart, crocodiles, birds, and mammals. Four-chambered heart, crocodile, birds, and mammals. Ammonotelic animals, many bony fishes, aquatic amphibian, and aquatic insects. Ammonotelic animal, many bony fishes, aquatic amphibian, and aquatic insects. Ureotelic animal, mammals, many terrestrial amphibians, and marine fishes. Ureotelic animal, mammal, many terrestrial amphibians, and marine fishes. Uricotelic animal, reptile, birds, land snail, and insects. Uricotelic animal, reptile, birds, land snail, and insects. Excretory structures. Protonephridia are flame cells in flatworm, Planaria platyhelminthes, and protonephridia or flame cells are seen in rotifers. Protonephridia or flame cells are seen in some annelids and cephalocardate like Amphiaxis. Protonephridia, flatworm, rotifer, some annelid, cephalocardata like Amphiaxis. Excretory structure. Nephridia, earthworm, and other annelids. Nephridia are seen in earthworms and other annelids. Malphigian tubules. Most of the insects, including cockroaches. Malphigian tubules are present in most of the insects, including cockroaches. Antennal gland or green gland. Crustaceans like prawns. Excretory structure. Antennal glands or green gland. Crustaceans like prawns. Amoeboid movement. Amoeba. Ciliary movement. Coordinated movement of cilia in trachea. Passage of ova through the female reproductive tract is ciliary movement in human. Muscular movement, movement of our jaws, limbs, and tongue, muscular movement. Flagellary movement, swimming of spermatozoa, canal system of sponges is a flagellary movement. Locomotion of protozoans like euglena is a flagellary movement. Fibrous joint, sutures of skull. Example for fibrous joint, sutures of skull. Cartilaginous joint, between the adjacent vertebrae in the vertebral column. Cartilaginous joint between the adjacent vertebrae in the vertebral column. Synovial joint, ball socket between humerus and pectoral girdle. Synovial joint, ball and socket between the humerus and glenoid cavity of pectoral girdle. Hinge joint, knee joint between the humerus and radius ulna. Pivot joint between atlas and axis. Pivot joint between atlas and axis. Gliding joint between the carpals. Gliding joint between the carpals. Saddle joint between the carpal and metacarpal of thumb. Saddle joint between the carpal and metacarpal of thumb. Multipolar neurons in cerebral cortex. Multipolar neuron in cerebral cortex will find bipolar neurons and retina of eye. Bipolar neurons are present in retina of eye. Unipolar neurons usually in the embryonic stage. Unipolar neuron usually in the embryonic stage. Peptide, polypeptide and protein hormones. Insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormone, hypothalamic hormones are called peptide or polypeptide or protein hormone. Steroids, cortisol, testosterone, estradiol, progesterone are steroids. Peptide, polypeptide, protein hormones, insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormone, hypothalamic hormones are said to be peptide, polypeptide, protein hormone. Steroid, cortisol, testosterone, estradiol and progesterone are called steroids. Iodothyronins, thyroid hormones. Iodothyronin, thyroid hormone. Amino acid derivatives, epinephrine. Amino acid derivatives, epinephrine. Hormones with membrane-bound receptor, protein hormone. Hormones with membrane-bound receptors are protein hormones. Hormones with intracellular receptors are belongs to steroid hormones and iodothyronins. Hormones with intracellular receptors, steroid hormones and iodothyronin. These are the examples of total textbook NCERT. Thank you.